Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it's NMeade here. It has been 1 week now since the release of Mario Kart World. If you watched the first video of day 1 reaction to world records and discoveries on day 1, that was already very impressive and surprising. You're in for a massive treat for what 1 week has brought us. Every single track is much different. Let's waste no time here. Let's watch Kyle Wade here on Mario Brothers Circuit. I just got done time trialing every track in the game a couple of days ago, and I did upload a video for that as well. You should check that out after, because I have tips for every single track. Now, to the main event here on Mario Brothers Circuit. First off, clearly the combo is different now. I believe the character's name is Nabbit, and this is the W bike from what I can remember. Still trying to remember all the names for the vehicles in the game here. So what you're going to see here on this track, but basically every single track, is just angles of how you're doing the railing tricks and being very clever about doing very, very big skips in that regard. It's basically on almost every single track, and I'm telling you, it's really crazy. So one of the first things different here is I believe that maneuver there, I don't think they landed on the green railing on day 1, I believe, and also they kind of hit the box as well with that momentum change in the air. Oh, that's also new too. Okay, interesting. So as we kind of mentioned before, right, taking advantage of the different angles along the arc there as well for the curve, you can be really crafty and really clever. It's basically almost several times a day there's new different discoveries here. And I've seen a couple of things, but still, it's been even like maybe 3 or 4 days since I've actually completed my timesheet, and that's more than enough time for many other categorically huge changes to come as well. So already this looks quite a decent amount different than day 1 for here as well. And what you're going to see too is definitely going to be a lot of combination changes. You should definitely look at the mkwrs.com website for all your world record activity and progression as well documented. And you're going to see all the different characters and vehicles that have changed as well. And this track is no different. So this has to be a cut of at least maybe a second and a half or so within the first week on the very first course. Overall, very impressive. Crown City, we have a low 209 by Mirai. And this is one where I do know some of the changes as well, especially for the ending of this track. If your only reference point is day 1, your mind is going to be blown. That's all I'm going to say. I won't spoil it. So this here features the Hot Rod, I believe this cart is called. We're using Wario as well. And this is, you know, a lot of long straights on this track. At least as far as I can understand, this might be the highest speed kart in the game. I feel like for other tracks that have had long straights as well, they have used the Real Racer as well. I think both are a bit similar for speed, but categorically just for long distance of just not doing much of anything on the track for a good amount of it, I think this is the ideal kart as well. So this is the first change that's happened. So you can do a charge jump onto the railing, rail jump off, and trick off the car. So the general motif, if that's even the right word, that you're going to see is basically they're jumping over the car. I didn't know that either. That segues nicely. Basically, every object in this game is trickable. So if you lead your gameplay with that in mind, you can get very creative. And let me tell you again, I'm going to be a broken record, but every track is so different now. I feel like they really captured the essence of having unrestricted gameplay again, because the last time we really kind of felt that way, for me especially, was Mario Kart Wii. It felt very much more open and free for exploration and just manipulating the different strategies and mechanics of the game. And I think the mechanics and gameplay for this, it definitely resembles that as well. The ending here might be a little bit different than what you'll remember. I'll let the gameplay speak for itself. So let's see here. Ooh, they do, okay. Yep. The palm tree is trickable. Oh my god. As mentioned, everything is trickable in this video game. And again, as we just saw before, because the last record I watched of this right when I did my own Crown City time trial a couple of days ago, you just rode on the whole rail before the trick. But now this new world record, they're actually taking advantage of railing jumping that little curved gap there as well. So overall, amazing optimization and an incredible record. Next stop is Whistlestop Summit. And before we check that out, you know, your boy's 10th worldwide. Okay. I got 7th place last night. And so we have a 153.7. And this was a 153.9, I think, last night when I got my time. So I'm also going to see this as well for the very first time. And this is going to be quite a lot different than day one as well. So this really features a lot of just the angles of rail riding and jumping in between gaps. This is going to be a real treat, again, if your reference point is only on day one. So let's see what we got cooking here by Tyler, I believe, on this track. I still can't believe that hop was actually a day one strategy, which also What? What in the world was that? That was not the strat yesterday. I'm gonna have to slow that down when I edit this for you guys and show you a closer look. Was that like, is there an extra rail by the ground? What even happened? Do they do this all 3 laps? That's a completely new strategy from yesterday. This was like barely 153.9 last night when I got my PB, you know, 7th. Does it happen lap 2? It looks like there's like a brown little railing on the side sloping down from the ground. That's crazy. I wonder why it's only for lap 1. Maybe it's just too hard to do it all 3 laps for now, maybe. Either way, that's nuts. Also here, we're probably going to see this as well, so check this out. It's going to be different than day 1. So we're fast enough where the train is here. You can drive on top of the train. Oh, that's new as well. Okay, so they're fast enough where I didn't even know there was a boost panel at the front of the train. Wow, that's nuts. As you're going to see too, they manipulate their flip animation of the bike as well to kind of go sideways on the ground in the little corner pocket of the wall. And you can time that. I did learn that yesterday as well. You just have to time when you're turning and releasing drift, and you'll get that every single time as well. This is busted. Wow. This is one track I want to try and get world record on myself, and so I can learn this new strategy and see what I can do as well. But wow, both Tyler and Zahn have been really notching this time down in the past couple of days. And again, just like this track, a lot of tracks that I've seen as well, it's just different terrain that you just visually didn't see yet on the racetrack. And then when a new discovery happens, it's like, why did I never notice that small detail on the track? So again, let's just watch this one more time. I know I put it in the video too in post-editing, but let's just see this. Wow. Oh, they also trick off the wall. They didn't notice that too. Oh, that's a lot going on. Wow, that's crazy. Jeez. Oh, I can't wait to time trial this as well. Amazing record. DK Spaceport, we have a low 132 by play, and let's see what's cooking here for this track. So again, if day 1 is your reference point, there are going to be a few things that are different for sure. Also including the vehicle combo here. So it's fleeting me what the name of this kart is. I'll flash it on the screen for you all. This is used on Peach Stadium later on. But wasting no time here, you can cut the first corner as well. Pretty simple, kind of go on the outside curve, cut all the way in, and then this trick with your MT boost over the gap. Not too bad of a trick to learn. Also, you can also go the lower path here and do a skip there as well. So, another thing you're going to see is just the glider tech in this game is really interesting. So, initially off a glider, if you point nose down right away, it kind of snaps you for more speed in that way. But there are other tracks where the glider strats is almost rocking back and forth a little bit, which is much different than how deluxe glider strats actually function. So it's really interesting to see how the physics works in this game compared to gliders in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe or Mario Kart 7 as an example. Again, this is actually one of the few tracks that actually features getting all 20 coins in a time trial specifically. A lot of tracks, honestly, they get maybe 10 coins or less. What's also surprising too is with how much they boasted the wall mechanics on this track, for this section in particular on their trailer, they don't use it at all. Kind of strange. But anyway though, the ending here is very treacherous depending on your pace as well. Look at that, barely clipping underneath the barrel there as well. But overall, what an amazing track, an amazing record. Desert Hills, we have a 135.323 by Pi. Barely beating out Grace here. And so Grace, I think, was one of the few players that had a pretty sizable gap in the very first immediate days of release for time trial overall while playing the game. So let's see what Pi has for us here as well. I also mentioned this in my timesheet video, but at least in my opinion, I think this is one of the trickiest shroom strategies so far across all the tracks. Just for the mere fact that, you know, maybe on the one hand you can time hopping out with the SMT out of here. So look at this for a second. So they charge barely an SMT, the sparks change, right? But when you hop out and when you're turning out for that alignment, that turning out motion, if you haven't played before, that is really difficult in this kart. Is called the Real Racer. Especially using Bazaar as well, the handling is not that great. So instead of just snapping right back to the left, just turning, it feels like you're fighting the kart in the sway almost. So more than half the time when I tried that, I couldn't sway back in time and I went in the opposite end of sand right there. You see how they barely get that alignment for that following drift? I was barely getting my alignment a little bit too short where I was drifting right into the sand. So more than what meets the eye when it comes to this track as well. Now, as far as, you know, more strategies on this track in particular, I feel like there has to be something big that we're missing on this track. Because I see in the distance here, there are railings on the side. I don't know if there's any other busted type of super big skip that can be happening on this track. But as it stands for now, I feel like this had a pretty decent head start for being one of the more optimized tracks, but also he missed the SMT. I'm pretty sure I saw that the right way. Wow. So he probably lost at least 0.1 or 0.2 probably by missing that last SMT. And to be fair, that is difficult because if you get that SMT and you're rocking back so slowly, you can almost just ride off the bridge right into the water there. And so that's really tricky to squeeze that out and not fall off right before the finish line. But still, it's good enough for world record, so amazing. Shy Guy Bazaar, we have a low 154 by Zay. And this is by far one of my favorite tracks of time trial from my initial impressions of time trialing every track. And so again, I believe the character's name is Nabbit. This is the baby blooper kart. And the baby blooper is used for a good amount of these time trials and from what it looks like in the online space as well. Ooh, interesting. So they go for the left rope first instead of the right rope first. And I think they do get an extra coin that way. So again, since I have more of a reference point for playing this now, doing that short hop to the first left rope there is really odd. You can overshoot that all day long. You can even overshoot the second rope on the right hand side as well very easily. So that's really good control by them to actually time that in the right way. And so as we're going to see on laps 2 and 3, they ride the railing as well into the lap. Let's see what they do here. Interesting. So I think ideally just the fastest path of travel for sure is just in a straight line there. And then you have your right trick where when you're airborne and you hold hard right, it sways and snaps your kart all the way to the right like that. So, whoa, what kind of massive boost was that? Whoa, that's new. And they're also skipping the coins in the middle. It makes sense from how fast that boost was. What in the world was that? What? So again, I've seen some things, but again, things are changing every day. So the last time I saw a lot of these was probably a couple of days ago when I just did my initial time trial. That's so interesting. So they would go on the middle path to get the coins on lap 2 and then go back to the left lap 3. Is that done again? They do a charge jump into it. Interesting. I wonder how much faster that tech is. As you're going to see too, right? So if a major piece of tech or mechanic is found like that, for other scenarios, for ramps like that throughout other tracks in the game, that's almost going to have guaranteed immediate transfer to that. And so in the beginning of a game's history, especially for a karting game like this, just rapid discovery of different strategies and how to use mechanics in the right way can really blossom and butterfly to other tracks in the game really quickly. So that was a very pleasant surprise. Amazing record. Wario Stadium, we have a mid 205, and I did this maybe like 2 days ago or something, and world record was barely a 207. So how are we cutting over 2 seconds off of this? The only thing I tried doing was skipping the coins lap one, because coins are not as powerful, but also they act very interesting depending on the quantity in the game. And so what is going on? What I'm speechless. What just happened? That's a part of the track? What? Oh, what is this? Was that another charge jump or something? Oh my goodness. This track is so different in like 48 hours. What even is this? Dude, wait though. Oh, I have to overlay what the old strategy was, because you would only use the left wall and then just do a good basic drift around. This is crazy. What in the world? No wonder why they cut so much time. Dude, that's so clever. Interesting. Wow. I wonder if you do that charge jump mechanic into a zipper like that, if it's almost just stacking momentum or something. That's so interesting. Wow. Look at this though. What in the world are we looking at right now? Oh my god, dude. Wow. I must say though, this has to be really cursed in an online race if someone traps those railings and you think you're being clever, you know? Like cut a lot of time. That would have to be brutal. But wow. This is a completely different track, guys, from 48 hours ago. This is not even recognizable to what it was before. Wow. This is by far one of my favorite records I've ever watched. Airship Fortress, we have technical off the bat once more. And I think this is definitely at least maybe in the ballpark of maybe like almost 3 seconds off from day one from what we saw. I think it was probably a mid 159 if my memory serves me right. I think it was technical for the day one video as well. So let's see what's changed here, because I know the shroom spot is different lap 2, but I don't know about... They're skipping the big railing. Interesting. Wow. That's news to me. Okay. What else? Also, if the pillars are a pace lock like that, you can actually trick in between both red railings to save yourself, by the way. A little pro tip. So, the shroom is different on lap 2 and 3. They do a little chart. They do it lap 1 now. Okay. Interesting. News to me. But then they... Okay. So I guess they felt it's worth it to get the 2 coins there lap 1 and then go there laps 2 and 3. I don't know if they do a lap 3 or not. We're going to see, I guess. Also, that, by the way, I've seen that now for a couple of records. That's using the right analog as well for shifting your camera, and it preserves that for a ghost replay. Kind of interesting. But wow. And from what I was told, doing the shroom that way, it doesn't save all that much, but any time save is welcome time save. What can I say? Interesting. So they do actually go their laps 2 and 3. So in ideal situations, if your coin count is not a influence in your race, it looks like going on that railing the whole way through is the fastest method of travel. So interesting. I'm going to link, by the way, in the description, Shortcat's video that he made about his experimentation for coin counts in the game. It's very interesting. So I think there's going to be a lot of memorizing about coin amounts per character slash vehicle slash collective combo in this game. I feel like we're just this much into the surface of what the game has to offer for its mechanics. DK Pass. We have Kanye here, and this is like a massive jump from what my PB was. I think the world record was like a 209, 208 or something. So if we're cutting more seconds off here, I'm very excited to see what this delivers. So let's see. It's Bowser and the Real Racer, and again, this combo is very clunky. It's high speed. It's very clunky to use and play, but it is a high speed combo for sure. So these S-bends in particular, they feel just really gross handling. That's the best choice for that I have right now, just for Bowser's. Ooh, the wall ride! Tree! 2 trees, evergreens! Shroomless drifts! What? I was halfway expecting them to use the railing there 2.5 pipe. What did we just watch? Oh my god, there's so much to learn in this video game, man. Wow, this is so different now, just like Wario Stadium. What's this? Wow. Did they do this 3 for 3? Off the railing. What happens here? On the wall. Evergreen. Evergreen trick. Wow. The fact that they don't have slowdown and drop their MT for the drift is really impressive. If you notice, I'll slow it down in the corner, but it looks like they're doing more tricks to get more airtime, and when they land, there is a boost with it. And they're doing a little boot hop with that for the boost to cut some of the snow off. And so I feel like if you're just a hard drift in the snow like that on the U-turn, I could be wrong. Maybe the stats of the Real Racer is different than what I am imagining it to be. But all that together is allowing them to drift out of the snow with keeping their MTs. Look at this again. Boost, Shroomless, MT out. Wow. That is crazy, man. Oh my goodness. This Wario Stadium, everything has delivered so much so far. Starview Peak, we have almost a 215 by Isaac. And when I time traveled this track a couple of days ago, that was a former world record there of a low 217. So it's been off by over a second now of a time cut. So let's see what's changed here. And I believe I started the conversation on DK Spaceport, but this track in particular, it features a long glider section. And so we're going to see that those mechanics kind of rocking up and down, giving more momentum and a boost that way. Which again, in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and to my memory from what I've heard for Mario Kart 7, it didn't really function in that way as well. So again, initially nose down, and they kind of pull up a little bit. But some tracks just really use that in a really crazy way. So we did have this strat on day 1. I was speculating though in my timesheet video and where I gave tips as well for every track, because in mine, I actually got a wall ride on the side railing there. So I was speculating if you can cut more of the gap off, barely land on the wall, and wall ride up to the railing, just cutting more of the gap off. So if you're a world record contender here, try that strat. You're welcome. Second off, the reason why they hold the first MT on the hill there for so long, I just learned this from another player, is that apparently if you start a hop right before a boost ends, you go faster that way. So if you're just to do a plain hop after the boost wears out versus preserving that boost right as it comes out, you actually save time that way. So very interesting. And you actually saw that as well I saw a 2 time trialing yesterday for Whistlestop Summit after the shroomless maneuver, and you did a little turn on the giant curve after as well. But yeah, this track is insane just for many different reasons, for the glider techs to preserving momentum for the hops and drifts as well. Really trying to finesse this rainbow MT into the ramp as well is very important. In my time trials a couple of days ago, if I missed the rainbow and had the SMT instead, the amount of time lost was really crazy. I'm talking like at least maybe 0.3 or more. Just for one lap, it was that significant. It was really crazy when I raced the Ghost. So yes, this track is a good amount different here, and definitely using advantage of how the glider works in this game. Nicely done. Sky High Sundae, we have a brand new 156 here, it seems, by Kaname, and there is a character change. I don't think we've seen the Wiggler before in the world record. I could be wrong just because there's so many improvements happening every day for tracks, but this is the first one we're watching right now. So let's see what's different here on this track. Ooh, they actually skipped the beginning of the railing. That's new. Interesting. What else is going to be new here? Let's see. Shroom is the same. I will say though, landing on that pink railing is a bit of a weird timing for that. Can be learned, of course, but that is one of the more trickier things to do at the very beginning of the track. What you're going to see as well is, especially in the very first week, we have seen a lot of different combination changes from the character and the vehicle. A lot of it is going to be for more higher speed combos if we can get away with it, because sometimes the higher speed combos, whether it's by the character and or the vehicle choice, even if the handling and turning is just a little bit more inconvenient, at the sake of the speed boost and bonus, it'll be worth it in a lot of applications. So a couple of tracks I've seen though, I think it has gone the opposite way from a high speed combo to a lightweight combo. That's kind of more for like the tracks that have a bunch of acrobatics like this in the railings in particular. But again, just the fact that I believe the wall ride was also a day one part of the world record as well. So again, a bunch of tricks here. If you're watching this game for the first time, for your first exposure here, doing more than one trick in the air like that, it's not actually making you go faster. It's not giving you additional boost in the air. People have said that I've been playing so far in the community is, one, they use it for alignment purposes, but number two, it can give you a longer distance for airtime. You actually use that on Acorn Heights for the vine switching, which we'll see later on. That's the track I've time trialed the most so far, so we'll get to that later on as well. But yeah, this was really a significant improvement from the day one world record. Amazing job. We have Wario's Galleon. We have a 221 by Raph. We have Pianta. I love the Pianta. And the only thing I'm really aware of from when I time trialed this myself a couple of days ago is something near the end, but I don't know what else has changed. So we're gonna find out together here. So let's see what happens here. I wonder if the change to Pianta has to do with hidden stats at all. I'm kind of curious about that. Because again, it is all water, and for Pianta, you know, think Mario Sunshine, that kind of makes sense, right? I must say though, this track is quite a nuisance to play in a time trial. Just the physics riding on the uneven waters is really, really just bothersome. But it can be learned. Skill issue by me, you know, I gotta get better. But we have the wall ride here, using that mechanic as well. This was also on day one world records of doing the giant mast railing post there as well. And we'll also go off the railing here. And so what you're going to see too is tracks that have at least some runway and distance for the railing is you typically do a trick and you land and you let some of the boost run. And right when the boost runs out, you do another trick and kind of chain boost that way as well. So there's just a lot of interesting things in this game about just chaining boosts together and trying to keep your rate of speed as fast as possible, right? As uninterrupted as possible. And again, I must say, like, this game really feels just almost freeing in a way, mechanically. And again, the last time I felt that way was Mario Kart Wii, where the following Mario Kart games after Mario Kart Wii, they got a lot more restrictive overall with how the games feel and function mechanically, but this took a complete backward spin in the best ways possible, in my opinion, and I feel like a lot of the players, they share that same sentiment as well. So yeah, I feel like there are hidden stats, including a water stat, as we may suspect, so again, that might be why a Pianta here is being used. We're going to see different specific characters chosen for other tracks later on as well, based on their terrain. But yes, getting that wall ride too is actually very tricky. He barely got on that lap 3. I was finding that a lot in my own attempts as well a couple of days ago. So, at the end, they go off with the wall ride at the end there. So, right when Raph got an improvement when I was streaming a couple of days ago, right before ending my stream, we watched one of his older records as well. It was probably like a high 222 maybe, so he already improved by another full second. Very, very impressive progress so far. We have Koopa Troopa Beach. We have a 128 now by Alberto. And I remember this being like barely 129 like 2 days ago. So, and Alberto's run looked really optimized. I think it was a 789, I believe. I was watching that world record and racing against it too a couple of days ago. So is one of these patches of grass like faster or something? Because I don't know how they're cutting off a full second from what it was before. That looks a little bit different. Okay. Are they just streaming on a different lap and waiting for the coin count or something? Is that the case here? Oh no, oh no, oh no. Oh my god. That reminds me of another track that we're going to watch later on. A strat I'm aware of. Oh my god, I cannot believe they can do that too. Wow, what in the world is this, man? Wow, 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 wow. Remember when I said virtually every object in the game is trickable? That also extends to ledges as well, because look at this. Yeah, it looks like they're tricking off the ledge, the double ledges there. That is crazy, man. Wow. Because for a second, I thought, are they collecting more coins and they just save the shrooms for the last 3 laps? But I'm very wrong, clearly, by that. Wow, that's crazy. Oh my goodness. This game is delivering so much right now. Amazing job. We have Faraway Oasis. We have a 2 minute now by James. James has been on just the mighty tear on the Oasis here. So let's see what James has for us now on Faraway Oasis after 1 week. So we're using the Penguin. I love that, by the way. Penguin WR, I'm here for that all day long. Laps 2 and 3, it's pretty complicated here, I will say. They sport that little curved ledge trick there, and that is probably one of the more harder pieces of tech that it is for me right now, trying to learn. I believe Peach Stadium has that, Mario Brothers Circuit had that, this track had that, obviously. And so yeah, you're using your momentum and turning and just tricking barely on the ledge and just almost going forward, right, just as to not fall off. So really crazy. No change in shroom spot here from what it looks like right now. At least from what I can speculate, that logically seems like to be the most ideal shroom spot overall for this track right now. This part here might be a little bit different here. So look at this. They trick on the sign, they go back, they use advantage of doing the sideways railing hop mechanics there as well to cut more off. I'm almost wondering though, could you almost cut off that little corner right before you go back on the ledge there too? Or is that just simply not worth it? Like, can you just not get back on the actual platform there? That would be an interesting piece of tech to try and see. But again, as you can see, right, this is only 11 coins. And so my kind of guess here is maybe like at least 40-50% of the tracks, their coin count in a time trial is almost like 10 or less primarily. So a lot different than what I was anticipating for the game, seeing 20 coins being possible. But a lot of them for a time trial is around that 10 or less. So yes, amazing time here. I think we'll see a 159 pretty soon. Speaking of Peach Stadium, we have a low 218 by Zay, and now we are using this high speed combo. I will say though, the handling on this kart is not that bad. And so let's see what's happening here on this track, because this is going to be a decent amount different than day one. So immediately here, we're going to the railing, getting a couple of tricks off. This shroom here is actually a bit difficult to try to optimize. It's very easy just to go really far wide after the shroom. Ooh, they're getting the boost panel now. Interesting. I didn't know that. Interesting. So again, as you're going to see, there are two. Ooh, they do a third one there. I didn't know that either. That's new. Nice. And again, they're purposely hitting the U-turn there as well. And once they charge that SMT, they're releasing and holding hard right to carry their momentum and the path of travel further down the track. That's so interesting. Wow. Also, speaking of coins, this track only gets 1 coin. I think it is above and beyond the lowest coin count of any time trial in the game by quite a bit. I think the next lowest amount might be around 4 or 5, so only 1 is basically nothing, literally. So very crazy. And again, as we saw, as I explained for last lap, the wall hit is purposeful, just trying to re-angle yourself as well. There might be 1 or 2 other tracks where that exact same mechanic is also used too. Another thing, so on that last curve, it's a bit easy to get a little bit too generous with your drift there and just fall off. So can be the source of frustration as well. Also, I've gone through the tires before on that curve and it just goes everywhere. It feels like it adjusts your angle a little bit. Like when you hit terrain like that, like the tires and sometimes boxes as an example for shroom spots in this game, it acts a bit weird, but also in a replay, it keeps them static from what I can understand. They don't fly out everywhere as it was in a live run too. So sometimes they are going through the objects like tires and boxes, FYI. But as it stands here, amazing run so far. But I wonder if they might utilize the beginning railing there in the future. I feel like that might be worthwhile, but again, more testing should be done. We have Peach Beach here. We have a 141 now by Jeff. And it looks like at this point, there's been a ton of Mario Kart Wii players that have gotten world records so far. So love to see it. Congrats, congrats. And so again, when I did my timesheet video for this, kind of going through it, this was maybe one of my Interesting. I'm gonna take back what I was just about to say. Well, it was true before seeing that now. Oh, interesting. Cool. Wow. Because I was gonna say, so in my timesheet video, when I time trialed this for time trialing all the tracks, I said that it's not too interesting except for the middle section, which is very interesting and really cool. But sections 1 and 3, or last 1 and 3, whatever, is a bit... Okay, we're getting more strategies now. Okay, it's making up for it. Okay. My tune is quickly changing for this track. It won't be as boring now in these sections. Let's go. Nice. So, as you're going to see as well on this track, the middle section can be a bit weird as well. Ooh, they don't do the double railing trick there. Interesting. I wonder why. Interesting. So, the precision for the glider there, this is like categorically like 5 new strategies at least from when I tried. Incredible. That precision on the glider to still go fast but not wiggle around and veer back and forth. It's really difficult to have that dead-on path, and still swoop down for the cluster of 3 coins each time. Getting 2 coins, not that bad. 3 coins though. Oh, that's hilarious. See the little camera change, awesome. Oh my goodness. But yeah, wow, Peach Beach, it delivers for sure now. I look forward to actually giving this another go myself. Amazing time. Salty Speedway. We have a low 204 now by Alberto. Let's go. And I was actually watching Alberto's stream a couple of days ago. He was doing his own attempts there live on stream. And he got within maybe like 10 milliseconds or so when I got a chance to watch him play. So good to see he succeeded in the end here. So let's see if anything has changed. It was only a 0.3 improvement from what I saw from what I learned doing this track as well. But as you're going to see, doing that little bit of purposeful water hit is actually worth it just for your path of travel, right? As you're going to see too, so when I was learning this track, what I realized when I was omitting that second trick there is so useful just to kind of reshift your cart back so your angle for the following turn is much better. Now, this shroom, at least I feel, is pretty free, but trying to optimize it seems like a giant nightmare though, because I was watching Alberto play, and sometimes just the slightest wall hit was actually almost just giving like a immediate like stoppage, more or less, to the momentum there. So very interesting. But as you're going to see too, like that little ledge there is so slight, but it's trickable. So another thing as well, if you've never played the game, this is your first exposure after week 1, is very small ledges like that one. That's a little ledge there, by the way. The trickable part for these things is very weird. Very weird. Especially for Boost Cinema, which we'll see later on. It drives us all up a wall, literally. It's very, very annoying. So, like, if you feel the impact of the ledge, for this as an example, that's when you trick. At least for me, if I visually try and look when I'm on it, I'm tricking far too late. So I kind of wish they made some of the ledges a bit more forgiving for trickable parts to do it on. But regardless though, you know, that trick right there under the shadow was also throwing me for a loop for quite a while. But this track seems great for a time trial, just trying to optimize things pretty well here. The beginning little bounce water cut onto the ledge and off there is really fun to do. I recommend just downloading World Record and just be in its path and hop when it does, and just go straight, release, and you got a new trick you can do up your sleeve. So overall, what an amazing record, well done. Dino Jungle, we have a 146 now by Mirai, and it's using the Charge and Chuck. This has to be the first record that uses this, at least that I'm aware of. Wow, let's go. I guess because we used the cow, I call it the mooing fella, you know, for the little off-road terrain stat. But I guess it makes sense too, because Charge and Chuck is at least thematically on Choco Mountain, and that's a lot of off-road for that as well. So, at least to my memory on day 1, we weren't doing this, so this has to be new to you. Ooh, they used a railing now. That's also new from when I time trialed it as well. Interesting. Oh, they do it. What are they tricking on? You can trick there? I thought that was just completely flat grass. I have to look closer on this lap too. Dang, a 35 lap 1. That's impressive. So the pace lock here, when you're at my pace or 149, is very... Dude, you can trick on the dinosaur feet. What are they tricking on? I'm so confused. You can almost hit that dinosaur now as well. What the hell? Hello? What's going on? Wow. I was pace locked on lap 2 for the S-Bend in particular, but you can just trick on the... Dude. Did I not tell you guys a million times so far in this video that virtually everything is trickable? Wow. And they use the railing now. That's so interesting. Oh, interesting. So when they shroom, they're immediately hopping and doing a charge jump. And when the shroom ends, they have an empty and they're releasing it and tricking. Wow. That was a lot. That's epic. Great Question Block Ruins was likely the most popular event of the Day 1 video for Day 1 strategies. This is now at a low 204 by Spezzy. What even is this? I'm aware of some changes because I used it for my own time maybe 3 or 4 days ago now. And we're actually on the Biddy Bud now. Interesting. Is this a different bike too? Okay. Let's see then. They're not holding the drift now into that. That's interesting. What was that? Was that a wheelie? What? Hello? What was that? Oh, I'm so confused. All right, go on. Pop off. Let's see. They don't do a charge jump. Yeah, they can do that now. So, Day 1, it was golden circle, side of cloud. Now, it's drift off, no charge jump, golden circle, ring, whatever, wall ride, golden ring, and cut off basically almost the whole last turn. But also, why did they do their lap 1? Was lap 1 a mistake? I'm really curious. I am not surprised, however, seeing that this is changed to Biddy Bud though, because just the handling for the acrobatics is really, really useful, because turning around there is just a much easier feat. Also, this is used on Acorn Heights as well, this character, and that's a lot of just grinding, vine switching, things like that. So this combo switch, it makes sense kind of watching this now, to be honest. What happens here lap 3? They don't do a lap 3. I can only assume lap 1 was a mistake then, with them going off the railing there. Probably didn't lose all that much, but still. I think this was different too. They did not go to the right side. Sorry, smack the mic. There on Day 1. But yeah, this. If anyone is new to the game or is thinking about buying the game, if you want to describe what the game functions as, you show them this world record right here. Cheep Falls. We have a 204.7 by Cal Sayer. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name correctly here. I believe this is one of the other tracks that does get all 20 coins in a time trial. I think this, Rainbow Road, DK Spaceport, Sky High Sundae, that might be it. I think. Anyway, this has Bowser. It has a real racer. That's completely new. What? Okay. Do you not get 20 coins anymore because he skipped those or something? Or no? Did he get the coin? Maybe by a pixel or something. Also, being there in last 1, 2, and 3, I've gotten clipped by the Cheep plenty of times down the time trial. Very frustrating. What was that drift? Wait, what even was that? Oh, I'm so puzzled in the best way possible. Wait. Oh, I am mind blown right now. What is even happening? You do it again? Wow, dude. So, again, just imagine, right? That little ledge there wasn't trickable, right? You probably couldn't do that then, right? Wow, that's crazy. Jeez. I wonder if the Pianta could be used on this track instead. Just like on, what was Wario's Galleon, I think. Although there is some normal road here in the beginning, but I don't know. Also, charging that Rainbow MT at the end there and swaying back with that just veering back to the left is very annoying. That's all I'm going to say. Wow, that's so interesting. I wonder how much that saves. I feel like it has to be a decent amount because you do kind of go out of your way to do that giant drift to the left otherwise. So, wow. You're definitely not maxing out coin count anymore on this. I'm pretty sure they did max out coin count when they didn't do the strategy to my memory. Wow. This really delivers. Oh my goodness, dude. Wow. This is definitely considerably different than day one world record. Amazing work. Dandelion Depths. We have a mid 221 by Zay. So let's see what's happening here. This was one track I was definitely really impressed by on day one, especially for the middle part of the track. I feel like they really got that down almost right away. On day one, there's a lot of this very specific like water maneuvers and tricks and everything. So, ooh, they charged a new drift. They're actually drifting now. Oh, interesting. Oh, wow, that's way different. So the first couple of days, I guess, I don't know when this was discovered, but you would just trick and then just purely just turn your analog and kind of go around. Wow. I mean, it makes sense why that's much faster. And again, if you're not aware, so when you're landing in the water like that, your vehicle is going down, and then that spring back up is giving you potential to get a trick out of that. Just an FYI for you guys. So let's see. Ooh, okay, that's also different in my memory. So instead of an SMT, they're getting a rainbow MT out of that. Really interesting. Wow, dude, look at that though. They're cutting so much more of that turn now, much tighter. Hand chaining all those, just drifting like that on that curve, just that path of travel has to be just way faster. Also, small detail, if you didn't notice, but there's the parabiddy buds flying in the air, and so at my PB level, they were perfectly kind of rounding the corner, and so out tricking them sometimes. So quite an annoying pace lock, but skill issue for me. You know, it's gotta be faster. Anyway, let's just dissect this one more time. Drift, MT trick, into a drift, MT trick, drift, MT trick, and turn. Wow. That looks way better than what it was before on day one. Wow. Incredible. Yeah, I mean, I feel like Real Racer and Bowser for a combo makes sense on this track. I don't know what else you would really try and use for a combo, really, to be honest. But yeah, like, as you can see, they're just very specifically just gapping their tricks. And what in the world was that? What? That didn't happen in last 1 and 2. Oh, so many surprises here. Boo Cinema, one of my favorite tracks to play. We have a new 206 now. I believe they are called Kai. I believe the 4 just stands for an A, so Kai. I believe that's the name here. And so let's see what's happening here. So as I mentioned, I forgot what track it was on, maybe Salty Speedway. But just the trickable part of many ledges on this track in particular, it drives me up a wall and everyone else as well. So it's very specific. I will say Ethan had a lot of records here. I believe Pi as well had a couple of records here as well. And so do a little ledge trick there as well. Small detail, but if you didn't notice from day one, the reels of film is actually rotating the exact opposite way, but it changes every lap. So when I download the Ghost to race it to learn how to time trial it, I'm like, why are they going out and in on laps 1, 2, and 3? And that's going to be the reason why as well. So these little legend. What? You can go on that wall too? Oh my god. As cool as that is, that's also concerning, at least to play it, because as I mentioned, so there's 2 ledges there at the end, and getting a trick out is so cumbersome every single time. And so if you just miss that ledge trick, is this done every lap or what? Let's see. Mini ledge here, and then oh my god. So I was going to say, I remember it being like a higher 207 with Ethan's time, so to cut another second off, I'm like, what else could you really do, you know? Wow, man. And again, as we're seeing too, right? So this again sports that detail of on a curve, right? The ledges are still trickable. So they're using this a little pathway to trick over this the smallest part of a gap, as you're seeing, right? Sometimes it's not even tricking over a gap at all. It's just the trickable part to the next trickable part, very slightly on the ledge there as well. They don't do a lap 3. Is it just because it's hard to do? Or is it only faster because you're getting a trick off the finish line pole thing? If you're a world record holder or high level here and you've done that strat, please educate us in the comments why that's not used on lap 3. I'd be very interested to know. Dry Bones Burnout, we have a 211.3 by Terra, and it looks like Terra barely edged out Pi's time. Pi's time was very strong when he got it a couple of days ago. And when a record stands for a couple of days, right in the very beginning days of a game, you know that's a very good time for the time period. So this will look different than day 1, I promise you. So you can do a charge jump and wall ride and trick off. Number 1, there's gonna be more. And so this also sports a longer glider section as well. So again, you'll see that kind of manipulating of the glider down and up. And just the theming of the track, the music, it's top tier. Love it. So it's just very, very slight, but you can wall ride on that? Dude, what in the world? That's new from what I saw as well when I was time trying this too, man. Wow. Oh, they actually do a trick there as well. Interesting, interesting. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, so guaranteed a good amount of that ending is also different too, especially for the shrooms. So what you're gonna see in laps 2 and 3 is right when they land, right before the lava there, right before the finish line for the shroom, the little lip of the normal road, you can trick on that too. And so you trick on that, you get airtime, land further, and then you shroom. Wow, that's a crazy optimization though. Wow. You're cutting off a lot of that railing. That's so cool. Wow. So that's new too. So initially when that strat was initially just implemented, you would go off the wall and not trick, because tricking sent you really far to the left, at least when I was trying it. And I was told not to trick on it. But you can trick them to land on the platform. Interesting. Very interesting. Let's see what else here. I mean, this was like a 0.1 improvement, so I don't know if there's going to be anything more different here at the end. But again, look at this though. How clever is that? Like, that amount of wall that you're riding is so small, right? You're on there for like 0.2 of a second, and then you're still cutting that much time off. That's incredible. Wow. Man, this really delivers. Really clever optimizations here so far. Amazing. Moo Moo Meadows. We have a fresh, brand new sub 2 by Jamie, and it's Donkey Kong. I don't think there is a DK record on day 1. I don't think so. Could be wrong, but to my memory, I don't think there was. This used the cow. And so I forgot which video I was watching, but the cow very clearly has a advantage for the terrain for the track. So this is going to be just a little bit different than day 1. Just keep watching here. Keep watching. Yeah, man. Look at that. Dude. When I saw that, I may have been on Twitter maybe a couple of days ago. I'm like, there's just no way. There's no way. And sure enough, there is. Like, especially on day 1, I think I even made this comment on day 1. It's just really funny, like a brand new experience to a game for everyone. It's really interesting what we all collectively see visually on day 1. But then when we broaden our view literally for all the surroundings, like I did not notice at all that tree was there or even that railing there. Like that's just simply amazing, honestly. So cool. Incredible. And also to my surprise too, so the little ledges of the circles of grass, they are also trickable. I almost feel like any part of terrain that has even like 1 degree of an incline is like suddenly trickable. I don't know. But in the original for Mario Kart Wii, where this track comes from, that was not a thing. It was just the ramp right before the grass mounds, and there are no other tricks after that. But the acrobatics on this track, very impressive. I tried doing this shroom strategy a couple of days ago for fun. I didn't get it yet. I'm sure I'll learn it and master it just like everything else in the game. But this is the first sub 2 minute on the track. So overall, well done. In style that actually MT and Donkey Kong, amazing. Choco Mountain, we have a low 207 by lean. Let's see what's happening here. I actually really enjoyed learning this track. As my initial thoughts playing it, I think I understood mechanically what we're going for on the track fairly quickly. So this should look a bit different than day one. So, starting off here, they purposely go to cut the mud to get that SMT out, because look at this, the layer before the deep off-road, you can actually trick on that and still just keep your drift and your MT out. But if you notice on a lot of these turns, they're actually going to oh, that that ledge is also trickable. That's new as well. Wow. Oh my goodness. So what you're going to see on this track is primarily, if you can release most of your MT boost onto the main road, it's generally preferred. Oh, that's interesting too. Oh. In the old record, I believe they held out the drift for the SMT and then they go back into the track. If I could speculate, maybe it's just for the distance before you start the drift for the following turn. It makes charging that MT just not worth it. Also too, not for nothing, but just for realignment purposes, because again, as I mentioned, just realigning with the real racer, just physically just turning back and forth, right, on the main road, it's so clunky and so slow. So if not for anything else, this makes just pointing your cart that way a million times easier. So I'm assuming it's faster since they changed that now to not go for the next stage of main turbo, but again, if not for anything else to make it easier, I think that's a welcomed change and addition as well. Also, doing that shallow drift there is also quite difficult. The extra tricks there also kind of helps you to try and sway your cart a little bit more back to the left there as well. Also, I'll say using extra tricks, especially side tricks sometimes, can kind of shift your momentum tighter for certain turns as well. So there's a lot of broad and deep depth to this game at the same time. And I think we're barely scraping the surface here. Toad's Factory. We have a 153.6 now by Terra. And I wonder how we're notching it down that much now to a 153. So I think it was maybe like a 156 maybe for day one, I think. I'm pretty sure. Still the same combo. We have the super blooper here. So let's see what's different. Let's see here, because this felt pretty optimized at a lower 155 to higher 154 level when I watched this a couple of days ago. But now they improved that by almost a second and a half now. So I wonder what else is going to be different here. Okay, so one of the first changes is they feel that it's worth it to, they do the trim differently too. Interesting. Okay, so obviously that conveyor belt is going the opposing way, but it looks like the speed slowdown is not as severe like in Mario Kart Wii, where this track originates from. And they're just turning as tight as possible on that turn and charging that high stage of MT and letting that cut through the slowdown that they're getting as well. Really impressive. Look at that. They're purposely omitting the green path there, the forward momentum there, because that's just worth it overall. And they're definitely doing that shroom differently as well. Interesting, interesting. Are you going to clear the Stomper here at this point for lap 3 too? Let's see. By a lot. Wow. That's crazy. Like, it looked like at low 155, almost 154 level, the Stompers were like almost impossible for what was being done, but it looks like to me it's a lot clever use of just deducing what's a faster rate of travel for going through something purposely going reverse, but still using your momentum charge to your advantage with that main turbo and just taking that as tight as possible. That was amazing. Well done. Bowser's Castle is one of the craziest improvements from day one. Let's waste no time here. 217 by Alpaco. I'm going to let lap 1 just speak for itself. Not going to spoil anything, but just in 1 week, I can't believe what this looks like now. They missed the first trick. Huh. By mistake, maybe, I guess. So that shortcut is way different. They don't do the wall ride like it was on day one, and that in itself was already impressive, by the way. They're doing that camera angle change again, by the way. Did you see that, man? Oh my god. Again, they're changing the camera angle too. From day 1 to week 1, this track is epic. Super epic. Also, underrated aspect, by the way, they're no longer Bowser Jr. They're Bowser now. High-speed combo. This has to be so annoying to drive now with Bowser. Bowser Jr. felt great, but again, just how clunky Bowser in Real Racer feels has to be a nightmare, I'm sure. But yes, they're tricking off the ledge. That part is wall rideable, and they're doing a million side tricks just to extend their air time and do that massive shortcut. Incredible. No other words to articulate how just incredible and epic that is. Just literally insane. This game delivers in every sense of the word. Amazing record here. Like, I still feel like there's more. There has to be more on this track. Because also too, just landing on the ledge like that all through laps is an underrated detail, by the way. Because when I was first discovered, a lot of players, including myself, were landing in the corner pocket of that. I thought I found a newer, faster strategy landing on top of the ledge right there at the end and drifting and tricking off of it. But it looks like now the players are already really good where they can handle that air time precisely, land cleanly in that pocket, and just drift and turn out and trick. So we'll see what happens here in the future, but for now, this is just one of the most insane records for week 1. Hot off the presses here. The first sub 2 minute times are coming in hot. We have Nanu here, 159.8, and there are some differences compared to day 1, I'll tell you. So I'll let the racing speak for itself. Still Bitty Bud here, but the combo is different. I believe on day 1 it may have been the baby blooper. In between them, we did use the real racer, and now this is using the W bike. So we launch at a much better angle like that, and this is different. So busted glider strats are in this game on my favorite track. Amazing. So that I can only assume has to save at least, I'm guessing, like 0.3 to 0.5 a lap in that ballpark if I had to speculate anything. How fast is lap 1? Yeah. 40.8 openers. Okay, dude. Like, insane. Insane. So the older strategy was you would use that rainbow MT momentum at the end of that railing and just to do simple 1-2 trick on. Sorry to slap the mic there. But then now they skip that part for a more favorable just line of path as well. and the glider strats look super, super fast. So my tip here for you guys as well, because I've played this track the most so far out of all of them, is for the vine path switching. At the apex of each trick, the first trick, at the apex of it is when you do your second trick. If you do only one trick, you're not going to do it well. You might either miss the vine completely, or you're going to land on the fat part of it and you get slowed down almost entirely. This tech looks really crazy to do. I feel like it's going to be a nightmare trying to learn this tech, but I'm going to have to for my favorite track, so. Wow. And I'll tell you too, like, Nanu's old record, like barely like a 2:09, I think, was really optimized for these other strategies. So we're now sub 2 minutes here. Simply amazing, incredible record. Next up, Mario Circuit. We have a 104.7 by Gen Zua. And this is going to look a little bit different as well compared to day one. I can't believe this is already the second to last track. If you're enjoying this, again, definitely get subscribed here and like the video. More content on the way. The next time I'll do this is going to be for month 1, and then we'll do longer gaps from there. But it's most important to capture the essence at the very beginning of the game and really see what people are able to do. Because look at that, we now ride that wall with the charge jump, case in point. So seeing what day 1 strategies are, what week 1 strategies are, we're going to look 1, 2, 5 years from now, and I'm sure it's going to be just a billion times different, especially with this game's tech and mechanics. I can't wait to see how this goes long term. Another wall ride as well, right? Very clever, very clever. But wait, there's more. Another charge jump onto a wall. So they made Mario Circuit so cool in this game. I love it. Love this track. Simply amazing. And but wait, oh yeah, there's more. There is one more as well, and they hop off, and now they clear the finish line. This is like such an amazing take just for livening up the spirit of Mario Circuit, especially because this is SNES Mario Circuits 1, 2, and 3. And especially for Mario Kart Wii, it's been the elusive dream of going over the invisible walls in that game for a glitch. And so this riding on the wall so effortlessly and purposefully with the mechanics in this game is so satisfying for sure. So overall, just incredible record so far for week 1. The final track, Rainbow Road, everyone's favorite. We have a 402.0, just barely missing the 401 by Arjon. And so this track, compared to other tracks, it has to be the longest glider section. So I feel like the case of Acorn Heights was really peculiar just because it was a longer amount, but they eventually wrapped back up and kind of cleared some of that ground. So I wonder, like, I think I only saw Diogo's maybe like higher 402 or something. So I have no idea if that uses that tech or not, or if that's even useful at all for this track. I made this comment a couple of times in other videos. However, it does, to me, it feels like this track is just four tracks in one, and I love it. Like, just the fact that they voluntarily made a Mario Kart track this long natively in the game is such a breath of fresh air, and they really knocked it out of the park for how they made this track. So welcome surprise for sure. As you're going to see, some path switching, and so there may have been one path switch on the day 1 record, but that has since changed, as you saw. So let's see here. So it looks like, see the little action streaks in the air, they are holding slightly down the entire time. So another thing too, so they are tricking off the very side ledge of that wall as well with that shroom. Really cool. And again, charging MTs in that little water section, I guess, seems like it's just not worth it at all. And of course, being a 4-minute track, you're gonna get the 20 coins pretty quick. So And again, seeing a lot of these path switches will definitely make sense just watching it now at this point. And I feel like we're going to see a sub 4 minute here. We have to. Because 4 minutes is just too long to not have multiple optimizations for every segment to eventually get a sub 4 minute. So if and when that happens, that's going to be a very satisfying day. But all of you guys watching the video, let me know in the comments, you know, if you've been either playing the game or just kind of spectating so far, just kind of seeing if this game is worth it. Are you enjoying it enough to actually try and get your own Switch 2 and play it? What's been your favorite tracks to play? What's been your favorite records to see? And what's been some of your biggest surprises? Because for me, I've had many positive surprises and some negative surprises. As I mentioned before, just the very small trickable terrain of very slight ledges. It feels so inconsistent, right? But so many things feel amazing about how the game functions. So, and again, just from I entered the game with everything that we saw with a positive mind, and I will say this has been through and through beyond worth it of a wait. I'm glad they didn't give too much of their resources to the DLC for Deluxe. They were clearly putting their money and their efforts where it mattered the most for the new Mario Kart game. But yeah, we're kind of wrapping things up here in the last 40 seconds or so. Thank you all so much for watching. Definitely get subscribed here, like the video. A lot more content for time trial and general gameplay for the game. And eventually teaching some, mechanics for the game and shortcuts will come to the channel. So I've learned all the tracks. I'm going to optimize them even more and try and spread information as to how to actually play this game well and to enjoy your time playing it as well. But yes, this really delivers here. I believe also on day one, this was B Dasher as well and Bowser. Could change as well in the future, we shall see. But for now, as it stands, this is Mario Kart World, Week 1, World Record Scene. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. See you soon.